I'm not going to do that. I'll be a little nice. Just a little. Just a tad. Say what? Yeah. Yeah, that thing. Oh, hush. Please. No, please no. What? So, yes. Yeah, true. Yeah. Most of the time. It's our hope anyway. All right, so it is 7:30, so we're going to say Shabbat Shalom to everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.
So glad everybody's here this evening. We're going to start off on page 353 with Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom Aleinu, Shabbat Shalom Aleinu, Shabbat Shalom Aleinu ve'akulam. Shabbat Shalom Aleinu, Shabbat Shalom Aleinu, Shabbat Shalom Aleinu ve'akulam. Shalom Aleinu ve'akul ha'olam. Shalom, shalom. Shalom Aleinu ve'akol ha'olam. Salam shalom. Shabbat shalom aleinu. Shabbat shalom aleinu. Shabbat shalom aleinu ve'akulam. Shabbat shalom aleinu. Shabbat shalom aleinu. Shabbat shalom aleinu ve'akulam.
Once again, Shabbat Shalom. I'm Diane Adler. I'll be leading services tonight with Betsy Hoover helping me. And of course, Jim Dannemiller's been kind enough to come and give us his music this evening. Rabbi Annie and Rabbi Ari are playing with the mice. Okay, they're in Florida.
Down in Florida.
They're hopefully having a good time. All right, so we're going to start off with our candle blessing on page 2. And I'd like to invite Lori and Howard to come up and do our candle blessing for us. It started it. Trick candles, or trick matches. Koheinu melech ha'olam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'chad l'pnei shel Shabbat. Thank you. We continue with L'cha Dodi on pages 20 and 21. We do verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. Dodi ligrat kala yadadai 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 pnei Shabbat nekabelah lecha dodi ligrat kala yadadai 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 pnei Shabbat nekabelah shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad ishmi'anu el hamiuchad Adonai arushmor echad l'shem u'tiferet v'helitila lecha dodi ligrat kala yadadai 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 pnei Shabbat nekabelah lecha dodi ligrat Shabbat. Nekala, Likrat Shabbat, Lekudnecha, Ki Mikor HaBeracha, Merosh Mekedem Besucha, Sof Ma'aseh B'machshava Tila, Lechadodi Likrat Kala, Yadadai, 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 Pnei Shabbat, Nekabela, Lechadodi Likrat Kala, Yadadai, 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 Pnei Shabbat, Nekabela.
Oh, sorry. I was a little ahead.
Yep, one
Yes.
verse.
Hitorevri,
Hitorevri, Kiva Orek Umi Uri, Uri Uri, Shudaberi, Kevod Adonai, Alai Lila, Lechadodi Likrat Kala, Yadadai, 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 Pnei Shabbat, Nekabela. We rise and face the entrance of the sanctuary.
Oiver
Shalom, Ateret Bala, Dan B'Simcha, U'V'Sochola, Tov Emunei HaSegula, Boi Chala, Boi Chala. Lechadodi Likrat Kala, Yadadai, 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 Pnei Shabbat, Nekabela. Lechadodi Likrat Kala, Yadadai, 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 Pnei Shabbat, Nekabela.
Oh. What are we doing? As we have welcomed Shabbat, we take a moment to welcome each other. So
As comfortable
Greet
as you
each
are,
get as close as you want to get.
and wish each other a Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom to everybody.
So I have on my notes. Makes it easier. Oh, I'm wrong to you. Oops.
I was kind of,
Okay, we'll continue services
It's okay.
on page 26 with the Chatzi Kaddish.
Yitkadav, Yitkadash, Shemei Rabbah, V'yamad Yivrat Kirutei, V'yamlik Malchutei, B'chayechon Uvyomechon, Uv'chayedeko Beit Yisrael, Bahagala, Bahagala, Uv'yizman Kariv, V'yimeru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mevorach, Ve'olam U'al Mehelmaya, Yiparach, Yiparach V'yishtabach, V'yipar V'yithroman V'yignaseh, V'yitadar V'yitaleh V'yitalal, Shemei Dekudesha Brichu, Le'olam min kol birkata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, dahamir Ama, v'yimeru Amen. We turn the page for the Baruchu. Please rise. page 30 from Ariv Aravim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim b'chokhmah poteach she'arim uvitvuna mishaneh itim umacharif et hazmanim umsader et hakokavim b'mishmerotehem barakia kirtsono borei yom v'layla golel or mipnei choshech v'choshech mipnei or uma'avir yom umevi laila umavdil ben yom uvein laila Adonai Sivaot Shemo El Chai v'Chayam Tamid Yimlok Aleinu Le'olam Va'ed Baruch Atah Adonai Hama'ariv Aravim.
Continue on page 33 at the bottom.
Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol, all these things your Torah gives to us. And the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could be a truer token of your abiding love than this holiest of your works and the living language that gives it form? Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Turn the page for the Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Hashem kevod malchuto le'olam va'ed.
Please be seated.
Continue on page 36 with Ve'ahavta.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך. All your heart, all your soul you shall love, and you shall love. All your soul, all you are, and you shall love, and you shall love. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך.
We continue on page 39, reading responsively. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth.
The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love.
From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way.
Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we overcame oppressive forces.
Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed. Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea. Mi Chamocha is on page 40. Chamocha ba'elim Adonai, Mi Chamocha nehedar b'kodesh, Norah tehilo, oh seifele, oh seifele. Mi Chamocha ba'elim Adonai, Mi Chamocha nehedar b'kodesh, Norah tehilo, oh seifele, oh seifele. We continue on page 42 with Hashkivenu.
Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, Hamideinu shomreinu l'chaim. Spread the shelter of your peace over us. Guide us with wisdom, compassion, and trust. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, Hamideinu shomreinu l'chaim. Save us for the sake of your name. Shield us from hatred, sorrow, and pain. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, Hamideinu shomreinu
Continue on page 44 with Veshamru.
Woo woo. I'm going to.
Shamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותיהם בריתם, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותיהם בריתם. ונלווין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותיהם ברית העולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותיהם ברית העולם. ביום השביעי שבת וינבש, שבת וינבש, שבת וינבש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותיהם ברית העולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותיהם ברית העולם.
We've now come to the Amidah, the central part of our service. It's on pages 46, 48, 50, and 52. Please rise.
Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, El Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanorah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chazdei Avot v'imahot, U'mevi Gula l'ifnei b'neihem, Leman Shemo b'Ahava, Melech Ozer Mashiach Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayei HaKol Atah, Rav Eloshia, Mashiach HaRuach, Mari HaGashem, Mechakel Chaim Bechesed, Mechayei HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Tzomech Noflim Berofei Kolim, Umatzir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Mikamo Kabal Gevurot, Umidom Melach, Melech Memi, Umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'emanata l'chayotako, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, V'kadoshim b'kol yam yahadu salah. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
Please be seated. Continue on page 55 at the top. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. and may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. Page 57 at the bottom. You are with us in our prayer, our love and our doubt, in our longing to feel your presence and do your will. You are the still clear voice within us. Therefore, O God, when doubt troubles us, when anxiety makes us tremble, when pain clouds the mind, we look inward for the answer to our prayers. There may we find you, and there find courage, insight, and endurance. And let our worship bring us closer to one another, that all Israel and all who seek you may find new strength for your service. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otecha levadka b'yirah na'avod. Bless you, Mom.
Continue on page 59 at the top.
God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth which day by day sustains us. For all these and more we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ucha na'eh lehodot. Shalom Rav, our prayer for peace for us and for the world, is on page 60.
Shalom
Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam.
Shalom
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech Adon lekol hashalom. Ki atahu melech Adon lekol hashalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tov einecha levarek et Amcha Yisrael b'kol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam.
We now take a moment for silent prayer. On page 62.
V'cheyon libi lefanecha, yihiyu leratson imrei fi. V'cheyon libi lefanecha, Adonai
before we sing Mishabera, which is found on page 253, we'll read the list of congregants who are asking for prayers. And if there's anybody else that we need to mention, we'll give them at the end of this list. Joan Adler, Lenore Adler, Sue Barish, James Berry, Pam Davis, John Deacons, Emily Diamond, Devay Deodati, Bill Ellis, Ralph Gardner, Joyce Gardner, Steve Geis, Marnie Goldman, Rachel Helene, Cheryl Kamish, Zoe Caven, Marshall Kramer, Helene Kramer, Sally Levy, Gail Leviton, Faith Lewis, Rena Masari, Mary Meyerson, Janie Munoz, Leah Nicaron, Esther Nicaron, Father Lance Ousley, Carol Osterman, Florence Osterman, Tracy Patton, Rabbi Lori Phillips, Rabbi Marcia Prager, Mark Rawls, Keith Salome, Stephanie Schuler, Margot Seckler, Shirley Seckler, Betty Sichel, Debbie Simon, Selma Silverberg, Reese Sullivan, Carmen Villarreal. Is there anybody else that we need to?
Billy Jackson.
Okay, we'll proceed with Misha Barach on page 253.
In the middle.
Sheberach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing.
And let us say,
Amen. Mishabera imotenu mekor habracha ve'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit.
and let us say,
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Rofeach Holim. May all those who are in need of blessing and healing find healing.
Okay, I think we forgot to welcome all of our our vast congregation out there in internet land. Yes. So Shabbat Shalom to everybody. We're thinking of you all, and we hope that you'll find your way back to the sanctuary sometime soon. When Annie called and asked me if I would help do the service tonight, and I said, of course. And then I said, okay, I guess I should look on my calendar and see what the Torah portion is and what's happening. So when I looked on my calendar, in big bold print at the bottom of the little square for today, it said Shabbat Zakor. I'm going, okay, do I know what that is all about? Well, I know Zakor means remember, but I didn't really think I'd learned anything about this special Shabbat in all of my years of studying. So I looked it up on the internet, of course, and I found a blog, and I said, okay, if I don't know, maybe a whole lot of other people don't know either. So we're going to learn about Shabbat Zakor and its significance tonight. And the title of this little piece is called The Evil That Won't Be Forgotten. This Shabbat is Shabbat Zachor, the special Shabbat that precedes Purim. It is dedicated to remembering the dastardly deeds of the tribe of Amalek, which attacked the weak and infirm of the children of Israel during the trek through the desert. The enmity between Israel and the Amalekites extended through the generations, and we find episodes of this hostility recurring in a number of biblical stories. The special Haftarah for this Shabbat recounts the episode where the prophet Samuel sent King Saul into battle against King Agag and the Amalekites in an effort to finally overcome this belligerent enemy of the Jewish people. In this account, God reminds the people of Israel of the reason for the battle. Thus said the Lord of hosts, I am exacting the penalty for what Amalek did to Israel, for the assault he made upon them on the road on their way up from Egypt. This verse, among others, raised an interesting association in the mind of one of the great sages of the Talmudic period, Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish. Some are remembered and praised, while others are remembered and cursed. Among those who are remembered and praised, Bezalel, the son of Uri, the son of Hur of the tribe of Judah. And you may remember hearing Bezalel's name fairly recently when we were talking about the building of the Mishkan in the desert. And he was a master craftsman. And he was like the project manager for this whole thing. And there is actually an art school in Jerusalem named Bezalel. So it still continues. Remember and be praised. Remember that which the Lord did for Miriam. Remember and be cursed. Remember what Amalek did to you. Remember and be praised. The Lord remembered Sarah. Remember and cursed. I'm exacting the penalty for what Amalek did to Israel. These are all different quotes throughout Torah. Rabbi Shimon paid close attention to the words used to describe different biblical figures. He noticed that frequently similar phraseology was employed to describe both heroic and disreputable figures. Since his focus was on memory, his message centers on this very point. Both the righteous and wicked will be remembered in kind. When the righteous are remembered, every detail of their goodness will be remembered. Similarly, the evil of the wicked will be remembered for posterity. It is not just they who will be remembered. Like Amalek, every wicked detail about them will be remembered and attributed to them and their offspring forever, never to be forgotten. This thought should be taken seriously by those who wreak havoc on their nations, their neighbors, and on the world. So I continued thinking about this whole issue of the praising the good and cursing the evil, which led me to think about last week when Carol Levin was here talking about her life and the things she's done. So she suffered a terrible loss when her son was killed by a drunk driver. And she turned that around into a very positive and good life. Her inspiring words were timely and helpful to many who have suffered losses, especially during the COVID pandemic. And I put this in parentheses. I feel like we should all say boo when COVID is mentioned, the way we say boo when Haman's name is mentioned. That would be my little contribution to the Purim spiel this week. The piece I just read is all about remembering of good things people do and bad things people do. And I hope we all want to be remembered for our good. As a recent new member of the Daughters of the American Revolution, I'm required to complete an individual project. I chose to write a nomination for the DAR Medal of Honor, the most prestigious award given by the DAR to an adult man or woman who is a United States citizen by birth, who has shown extraordinary qualities of leadership, trustworthiness, service, and patriotism. The recipient must have made unusual and lasting contributions to our American heritage by truly giving of himself or herself to his or her community, state, country, and fellow men. So, I decided Carol Levin was the perfect candidate. I have been working on her nomination for about 3 months now, and have collected letters of recommendation for her, lots and lots of interviews with Carol to write up her nomination. And I want to read part of one of the letters of recommendation to give you even more insight into Carol and her goodness. It is my pleasure and honor to write a letter of recommendation for Carol Levin, a fellow Rotarian and a true humanitarian and servant leader. My family and I have known Carol since 2016 when I relocated to Texas and joined the Rotary Club of Texas. Carol and her husband Stu were the first to welcome me to Rotary and invited me to sit with them for lunch. From that day on, Carol was a mentor and have developed a close relationship through our shared charitable efforts with Rotary. Carol is a past president of the Rotary Club of Katy and has served as assistant district governor in addition to her busy schedule running her business, Tutorials for Excellence, and her deep involvement with Mothers Against Drunk Driving. Carol volunteers for just about every function Rotary sponsors. The Wild West Brew Fest, Katy Rice Festival, Katy Triathlon, Rotaract, recruitment, the list goes on and on. Carol does so because of her love of country and her love for people. And as a little aside on this Wild West Brew Fest, she approached MAD to sponsor a booth when they first started, and MAD's going, at a brew fest? I don't think so. Well, she's kept at it, and finally they agreed to sponsor a booth, and it provides rides home for people who've had a little bit too much to drink. And as a result, there's never been an accident or any problem with anybody who attended the Brew Fest as far as drunk driving issues goes, and impaired driving, I guess you'd say. Carol and Stu were lifesavers for my family during Hurricane Harvey, which brings back bad memories for everybody. I was in New Hampshire on a business trip when Harvey struck Texas. In the space of an hour, the waters went from receding to rushing into our home with my 2 young daughters and wife and dog. My family was rescued via boat that night and was able to stay with friends of our neighbors. I was not able to get back to Texas for 3 more days after the hurricane. I called Carol and Stu, who were stranded in their own home, and explained our situation. By the time I landed in Austin and rented a car, Carol had arranged for our family to stay at a fellow Rotarian's home that was on the market for sale. This is just one of the examples of the type of caring person Carol is, and I could go on and on, but for the sake of brevity, I will end this. Carol is constantly serving her community to make positive impacts, and her energy and capacity for volunteering and serving is nothing short of amazing. I don't think of a more deserving person to be nominated for this honor. So I would hope that we would each strive for this kind of a remembrance of our lives of goodness, And remember that we curse Haman on Purim for a reason. So the goodness of people like Carol will be remembered and praised. That whole phrase, we remember and praise, and will be attributed to her offspring forever, never to be forgotten. Thank you. Shabbat Shalom. Okay. Please rise for the Aleinu on page
We'd like to invite Sam
282.
Hoover and Michelle Dana Miller to come up and open the ark. And we're on page 282, 284, and 287. And we rise.
Aleinu l'shabeach v'adon hakol, la'teku l'aliyotzer b'reshit, shelo asanu k'vei haratzot, velo samanu mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam kavenu kanem, v'gohor aleinu kekol hamonam, v'anaknu korim, umishtachavim umodim, lifnei melech malkei hamakim, hakadosh baruch hu. Shehunatei shamayim ve'yoser haaretz,
Umoshe v'yikaro b'shamayim imahal, Ishkinatu zo, Ishkinatu zo, Begore meromi, Hu Eloheinu Einod, Emet Malkeinu Efezulato, Kakatu Betorato, V'yadata hayom v'hashavota, Elevavecha, Ki Adonai hu Elohim ba 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 shamayim mimahal v'aharetz mitachat einod v'nehemar v'haya Adonai l'melech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad. Please be seated. I'll get there.
292.
Yes. Turn to page 292. Number 9. We have lived in numberless towns and villages, and in too many of them we have endured cruel suffering. Some we have forgotten, others are sealed in our memory, a wound that does not heal. 100 generations of victims and martyrs, still their blood cries out from the earth. And so many at Dachau, at Guwald, at Baba Yar. What can we say? What can we do? How bear the unbearable or accept what life has brought to our people? All who are born must die, but how shall we compare the slow passage of time with the callous slaughter of the innocent, cut off before their time? They lived with faith, not all but many, and surely many died with faith in God, in life, in the goodness that even flames cannot destroy. May we find a way to the strength of that faith, that trust, that sure sense that life and soul endure beyond this body's death. They have left their lives to us.
Let a million prayers rise whenever Jews worship. Let a million candles glow against the darkness of those unfinished lives. And tonight we especially remember Leonard Edelman, Ruth Grabois, mother of Ron Grabois, Marie Jackson, mother of Pascal Quadrango, Ruth Laurie, mother of Richard Laurie, Maurice Renskow, uncle of Fred Koveler. And to that list we add together as one congregation we rise for Mourner's Kaddish on page 294. Yikadal v'yikadash shemei rabbah v'alma divra kirutei v'amlik malchutei b'chayachon u'yomechon u'v'chaye dekol beit Yisrael ba'agala of Yizman kariv v'yimru Amen. Yehei shemei rabbah mevarak le'alam u'lamei almaya Yitbarak v'yishtabak v'yitpa'ar v'yitroman v'yitnaseh V'yet hadar, v'yet taleh, v'yet talal, shemei de kudusha barichu. Le'alam min kol birchata v'shirata, tush b'chata v'nechemata, da'amiran v'alma v'imru, Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, Amen. Osei shalom b'mramav, huyasei shalom, Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, Amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all Israel. And together we say, Amen. So now I'd like to invite up Lori Newith Hirsch. Oh, sorry, everybody can have a seat. Sorry. I want to invite Lori up. She's representing our board to bring us some announcements.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
I mean, I feel like y'all can do better than that. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
We are delighted you can be here tonight, and I'd especially like to welcome any new members and guests who are with us. Rabbi Zish meets on Tuesdays at 12 noon via Zoom. Join Chava for Lunch and Learn on Thursdays at 12 noon. You can reach out to her directly for the Zoom link. Temple Sinai presents Harry Potter and the Triangled Hat Purim Spiel on Wednesday, March 16th at 6 p.m. Please join us for a Purim service, songs, and Megillah reading, followed by our Harry Potter Spiel and Hamantash and Oneg. Save the date. We are now having Mitzvah Day on Sunday, March 27th. More details to come in our weekly shofar and in our school news you can use. Sinai Night Out, March 26th at 5:30 at Lasagna House, which is just down the street from here. If you shared someone's name for Kaddish, please let their family know by sending them a Kaddish card. In addition, if you said a Misha Berach, the healing prayer for someone tonight, please feel free to send them a Misha Berach card. Again, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you. And again, I really want to thank Betsy and Jim for coming and helping with this evening. Guys make it so special. We're going to we're going to do our blessing first on page 299. So I would say gather all those that you love, stretching hands. You know, you're going to get caught with that one. My mother is in here making faces at me. I just want everyone to know that. All right, so we're going to bless. Yep. All right, we'll start off with daughters because Lori's here, so she can sit by her dad. All right, ready? Yisimcha Elohim Kasar Rivka Rachel V'Leah. May God inspire you to live like Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah. And then for our sons, Yisimcha Elohim Ephraim and Manasseh. May God inspire you to live like Ephraim and Manasseh. And then for everyone, Yivarechacha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you and keep you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'ukinecha. May God's light shine upon you, and may God be gracious to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May you feel God's presence within you always, and may we all find peace. Amen. Amen, amen, amen. And our closing song is Osei Shalom on page 343, if you need it. I don't need it.
Say shalom b'mramav, Huya say shalom aleinu, ve'akol Yisrael, v'imru, v'imru, amenu, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, v'yakol Yisrael, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, v'yakol Yisrael, yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, v'yakol Yisrael, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, v'yakol Yisrael, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, v'yakol Yisrael.
Shabbat Shalom. Please join us outside for Kiddush and Motzi. Thank you so much.
It was a happy joy to do the solo.